What's in your current collection right now?
How much time you got? So we have we have all of these. Some of these are not my cars. They're just here as decoration. But we have the 675 LT, the Ferrari 430 Scuderia. The ones that I'm working on right now. I'm really excited about my 2008 Lamborghini Gallardo. Like I just got that off the lift, and I haven't worked on that for like 4 years. And that was the first car that kind of blew up my channel. Mm-hmm. So I think with that, I want to redo everything to like the standards of today, because standards of 2017 Freddie, when I was working in my 2-car garage and really didn't have any sort of resources to put into any of this stuff, and I've never worked on any supercars or hypercars or exotic cars. That was that was a shoestring budget. So I think now with some more connections and some better parts, I think I can really make that project shine. I have the Aston Martins, V8 Vantage, DBS. I have GT3. I just got another Porsche. We just got an M6. It's a convertible V10 manual. So it's a factory manual. They only made 300 something, and they only made them in the States. So in Europe, they didn't have manuals. Apparently, like nobody wanted manuals. So it was only for like the North American market, and that car is super cool, and we did modifications to it. And some other stuff. We got Focus RS, and then the Audi RS e-tron GT. That's like a daily driver for my girlfriend, and it's been like I like to have a collection that's not necessarily eclectic, but it's just the stuff that I find interesting and the automotive experiences that I can't get anywhere else.
How many cars do you have?
30.
30 flat.
30 flat. Yeah, I know this because I just did a Google Doc. And I have 29 here and then one in UK, which is like a London cab. So I bought this London, like those little, you go to London and you have this tiny little
cars.
I think it's like a 97, probably has 10 billion miles on it. But I ended up getting it from a friend for like $2,000, and I've never seen it. It's just sitting in some person's storage locker or farm or something. So at some point I'll bring it over here, and then we'll just drive a London cab around Florida and see how that works.
And how many of these 30 cars that you own are you actually making content around, or is it mostly just out of passion?
So it's out of passion. When I buy a car, if it's not a car that I feel really strongly about, then I will like trade it, or I may sell it. I'm really bad at selling cars. I'm terrible at that. So when I see a car that I feel attracted to, like this is an automotive experience I didn't have, then it's something that like I could just add to the collection. I can just keep forever. Like the P1 and 918, I'm going to keep forever.
Keeping it forever also adds monthly costs to your bill. Like I imagine you still have to like register it, you still have to insure it, you still have to do all of these things. What's the month-to-month cost of your collection?
The collection itself isn't that expensive. So the insurance cost on everything, I think I'm paying something like 15, 16 grand a year for everything. So
that's just not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
Are you like maxed out policy on everything?
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's also all the cars are like, it's not like they get driven every day.
Right.
They're in a air conditioned security, like garage, and it's not really like I have a fleet insurance policy, which is fantastic, because like if I would have gone to like Geico or Allstate or something, it would have been $100,000, especially on some of these cars where they're like, oh, we need to get special underwriter approval or something. But the maintenance on a lot of these cars is also not terrible. The thing that I'm running into most is that since the cars don't get driven a lot, there's a lot of cars that like the tires that I've put on them like years ago, the tread is fine, but they're just aging out. So I have my Lamborghini Gallardo, brand new Michelin PS4S tires. Like they were $2,000 back in the day, but I put them on in 2017, so they're aged out. You don't want tires more than 5 years old, because the compound changes and it gets less consistent, that sort of thing. So the car, I probably put 30 miles on the car, since I finished it on YouTube. Now I have to change the tires, which to anybody else would have been, a brand new tires. And the same thing goes for like a few other cars here. So stuff like that, it does seem a little bit wasteful, but also like I'm not going to have a car that's just sitting with, whatever tires it came off the showroom floor with.
And then, what would the final sum number be?
Yeah, I think I would spend probably like less than $5,000 a month on everything. Like, because we're talking about like oil changes, we're talking about like whatever parts things need, and then the insurance costs. It's not that bad. But this is just on the car collection. I'm not talking about storage or like the shops or anything.
Or
like
notes
that.
either.
No.
Any loans?
Oh, okay. Well, so
there we
you know
go.
what?
That the loans do cost money at the end of the month.
You forgot that very conveniently.
So
what's the loan?
I forgot the loan. I'm sorry. So I forgot you're a
Is that
finance
a rounding
guy.
error? Or what?
Yeah, it is a rounding error. That's how
Minimal.
much money we're making here. No, it's not. The loan actually, if we add the loan to it, it's probably something like $22,000.
That's not that bad.
Yeah,
though.
that's not that bad.
For 30 cars.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, the only loan I have is for that P1, and I'm just right now I'm just paying it off. I'm actually trying to get a loan now to finish all of the big car builds rather than kind of doing it piecemeal. So if I have a lump sum, I can just be like, all right, I'm ordering all these parts, I'll make all this content, and then boom, 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 and then just pay off the loan. So
how big of a loan do you need?
$500,000, something like that.
And what's the interest rate you're getting on that?
If
you were to get a loan,
I think it would be less than 10. It'd be less than 10%.
See, Graham is considering whether or not he should lend you money. That's literally, I know how his brain works. He's literally like, okay, well, like I'm getting this in treasuries. I could do this in my money market fund. Could I get an extra 2% if I lend money to Freddie?
You could, but listen, it's not like I don't have things as collateral.
Right. That's
so
what I'm saying.
That's what I do. I go, well, I have all these cars, and here's the market value of each of these cars, and they have comps and bring a trailer and whatever. Like, this is what they're selling for in the last 6 months. So we take a valuation based on that, and then just add those up, and then what can we then loan out based on those numbers.
The wheels are turning. This would make a good YouTube video too.
Yeah. Well, I'm sponsoring Tavarish's channel.
It could be part of your diversified portfolio.
Loans.
Yeah. You could give out loans.
The
only thing is I would be hesitant to be in debt to this guy.
Yeah.
You're going to be 1 minute late on your payment. He's going to show up at your front door.
Yeah, exactly.
Bleep that.
Yeah, just a giant sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Like, well, which
I
one
hope you
left or
enjoyed
right?
having knees, Freddie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you want your pinky or your thumb?
Pick one.
You're going to be working on these cars in a wheelchair. Yeah. No, but it's not only just finishing cars. It's also launching stuff like this, the merch brand that I'm going to launch, and I want to get myself out there a lot more in 2026. 2025 was I did a lot, but I think when people look at the body of my work, and especially on my YouTube channel, it's like, well, you haven't uploaded this, but like the reality is that all these things, especially the hypercar builds, like, and the P1 especially, is so incredibly labor and time intensive. Like, just to give you guys an example, the P1, we are redesigning everything. And when I mean everything, I'm like, the engine we rebuilt to twice as much power. We had the turbos like designed by the original manufacturers of the turbos. So they did like computer simulations, and then they sent it to Mitsubishi Japan, who then sent me a set of turbos, like prototype turbos for my car that make twice the power, but they look the same of like the ones on the P1 originally. Then we have like I'm re-engineering the entire cooling system in that car. So instead of having like the radiators in the front, we're deleting all those for weight savings. And then I'm using like an air conditioning system to cool fluid. So I don't have to worry about it being hot and humid outside. Then, we're deleting the hybrid system, but then we're also, adding in a wiring harness that's now modular. And then we're doing like a body that has to be CFD, computational fluid dynamics, like aerodynamics tested, because I want want to go 250, 60, 70 miles an hour. And no McLaren, especially no McLaren P1, has ever done that. So, and then on top of that, you have to actually make the stuff. You have to make the parts. You have to make the carbon fiber body. And in order to do that right, you're not just slapping it together. You're not just like putting a body kit on a Civic. Like this has to be, everything has to be tested. Everything has to be OEM plus, because if you're going 250 miles an hour, that thing might explode, you know?
But when you say you need to borrow $500,000, I'm gonna be honest. That's very surprising to me because I see the amount of views that you have. Mm-hmm. I can kind of do some back of the napkin math, and like, he should be making this amount.
Yeah.
And he could very easily just post one extra video, and it could pay a researcher's salary.
Yeah.
And if you have a researcher, you won't need to spend those late night hours on the computer trying to find a part for a cheap price. You'd have someone else do it. You could move on to the next project. You could post more,
or just even sell off a few cars.
Yeah. What do you think about that logic, or what's the?
So I think that totally works. And it's not like, yeah, sounds good, doesn't work. The issue that I run into with that is that I am so far into these projects, and there are things that I know that in order for me to bring people up to speed on them, it would take me way more time than it would be to just do it myself. And then the ROI starts not making any sense. When I have somebody do something, if I pay them to do a job, I want to be able to rely on them and then say like, hey, this is what I need from you. And what happens when, in the event that it doesn't happen or it doesn't happen on time, or some expectation isn't met, I have this weird thing where I don't want to feel like I'm not pissed off, but like I don't want to feel like,
you don't want to express discontent with someone.
Correct. And then like I don't want to feel like they're letting me down or something like that. And then I'm like, I'll just internalize this. And that's like, it's not a good business practice for sure. But I've had that happen where, I've had people work here and, they've been really, really good. And then like later on, it just gets to a point where they might be, might get a little slower or something like that. Like slower at producing their results. And I've noticed this, and it does have an effect on the bottom line, but then I still have to pay them. And if I bring this up, there's like, now you have to bridge that gap of like their ego or, my own ego, and, communicating like what you think is clearly, but it's not clearly for them. So they start doing something, and then you're like, well, I'm still not happy with this. And by the time, this all, like, you actually get a product and you're like, I guess I'm okay with that. You could have done this yourself, 10 times over. So that's one thing that I struggle with quite a bit, because it's sort of like the micromanagement, but it's on the problem solving side of things. I wouldn't want to offload that. It's almost like the advent of AI. AI is really good when you know what the answer should be. AI is not good when it's like, all right, create something that's never been created before. When it's like, all right, solve this problem that no one else has in the world, or like find me a part that no one else is looking for. That's going to be really hard for somebody to do. And I feel like they're still expending time and energy on this problem. I still have to pay them, and then the result is going to be realistically probably not what I want.
Would you be open to looking at talent? Like if someone, okay, so do you have an email? Create an email.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the email going to be?
Tavarish needs help.
Tavarish needs help
at Gmail.
12@gmail.com. Tavarish needs help 12@gmail.com. If you guys feel like you could be a good fit, send over the best possible application, the best possible resume you could come up with. Make it a video, make it creative, make it easy to digest, because I'm sure he'll get plenty of these. Show him your skills in video editing, show him your knowledge on cars, show him everything and exactly why you'd be good for the position.
Yes.
I know that there will be plenty of people that
for
would
sure.
kill for this. So if you want to, create the email. Maybe he creates it, maybe he does it. We'll put down in the description if he does. But
I'll create it just because you know.
He'll
That's
create
very
the email.
convincing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I do think that just like logically speaking, yes, the emotions can sometimes get in the way of logic, which sounds like you've had some past experience where that did happen.
Correct.
But I do think it could help you a lot to have a little bit of help, like a main, person at your side for the business. I know at least for Graham's business, it helped a lot to finally bring someone else onto the team, and then everything explodes. And I know if you increased upload frequency, you had a fail-safe, someone you could count on, these people want to see from you more.
Yeah,
than they do
I want
now.
to see you once a month. I didn't like that.
Yes.
The last video is 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, so my goal, at least for 2026, is to have 2 videos out on the main channel and 4 to 6 on the second channel. So what I've learned is that I'm always putting more on myself than realistically I can handle, or like anybody can handle. But I start thinking to myself, like, I start getting really optimistic, like, oh yeah, I can do this in this amount of time. I can do this in this amount of time. And it's not realistic because I could if I didn't sleep for the next 4 days. And sometimes that does have to happen. It does suck when you have to, perform, and then, like, let's say, for me, a crappy video on my main channel, like a 10 out of 10 is 1.5 million views, which, my floor has never been higher on the channel. So if I get a video that has 500,000 views, that's a really bad day. That's like, maybe I should stop doing this, which is crazy because 500,000 views is a lot of people. It's a lot of people, and you still generate money and all that. So there has to be a way where, I'm still in the growth phase, and, I'm still finding audience, and then, doing interesting things. But for sure, I agree with you that there's a way for somebody else to, help me out with something, and then we all grow together. The issue that I've come up against is that, the people that I've used in the past, and then they're still around. I mean, I still talk to everybody that I've worked with. They're really nice people, and they do good work. But I think when the job starts, they see the kind of lifestyle, they see the cars, they see, like, if you're a car guy coming here, working on these cars and seeing all this stuff day in and day out, it's really cool in the beginning. After a while, it just becomes normal. And then after a while, just like any other job, people can become complacent. And even if you're paying them very, very well, they start to lose sight of the fact that, like, in this industry, nobody else is doing this. If I'm paying somebody 10 grand a month, or 12 grand a month, or 15 grand a month, or whatever, it's really, really hard to then convince those people, years down the line, that, like, hey, so this is, like, still a really good, like, you haven't been in the job market. You don't know that this is, like, actually not.
Yeah, to retain them.
Yeah.
That's why for us, what's always worked is incentive pay. So, like, the more money you can generate the business, the more money we'll pay you.
Yeah.
And it's just like only ever going to pull them into needing to be a higher performer.
For sure.
So that's worked out really well for us, but that's also like that we're getting a little bit
we are
outside of the weeds.
No, but it's a good conversation to have for sure, because I think right now, especially in this time of year, I'm also sitting on, like, 3 really big videos. So it's not like I've just been, kicking back, and it's sort of like, the actor that you haven't seen act for a while, and they're like, oh, what is he doing? Like, oh, he hasn't done anything. Meanwhile, he's been, working day in and day out on some project that, nobody knows about. But it's it is a good conversation to have, just because the last time you were here, I said it cost something like $80,000 or between $80,000 and $90,000 to keep this place and everything going, and that's still mostly the case. I have lowered costs a bit, just because of personnel, and, like, there's stuff like, I've had projects that nobody has seen. And, like, just today, one of my friends came in, and I told him, hey, can you sell these cars for me? Because, like, I bought these projects, and it's just 20 grand just sitting there. And I have so much stuff right now backed up that there's no realistic way I'm ever going to get to this. And I bought this kind of sight unseen, these cars that are like, oh yeah, I can put this together. And then when they get here, I'm like, this is like a full restoration. I don't even know if it's going to do well. And then I know I have stuff that I do know it will do well. Why don't I just focus on that,